Hey, what's going on? Back again with another airgun review. Today we're looking at the Pinty P-Force Tactical. Had this for, I don't know, 2 months maybe, 3 months, something like that. Um, go over a few things about it and help you decide if it's something you might be interested in. As you can plainly tell, this is pretty much an Air Force clone. There are a few different things about it, but yeah, there's a lot of similarities. Uh, it is all aluminum and metal, minus the handguard and grip. It has an AR style grip, which you should be able to replace with one of your choice as long as it doesn't have a dovetail on it. It has Picatinny on top, Picatinny on bottom for your accessories, then a raised Picatinny rail for your scope. It has a ton of room on it to add or mount just about anything you could think of. It comes with a Cuban cricket regulator, and it has been verified through Cuban that this is their actual regulator, which is kind of surprising on a $300 gun because the regulator itself is about 120 bucks. Comes with a 320cc aluminum bottle rated at 3600 psi. It is a single shot. It has the exact same power adjuster that the Air Force does, just basically adjusting your hammer spring tension. It does come with a threaded barrel, although it is not 1/2 20. I think it's M13 or some weird stuff like that. It does come with a regulator, all aluminum, a regulator, moderator, all aluminum. It is relatively nice. Doesn't do that great of a job, so I replaced it. I had to get an adapter, and I replaced it with a little bit one that is more beefy because this thing is pretty loud, especially when you have the power turned up. Two things about this. The overall build quality is really good. All the millwork is spot on. It looks good. It handles good. It's 5.5 pounds out of the box. There was two huge issues with this. The first being the trigger. Out of the box, the trigger is absolute garbage. It is horrible. It is one of the heaviest, grittiest triggers I have ever seen. And the only way to fix it is you have to reprofile the sear, which means grinding it down and reshaping it. After you do that, if you're willing to do that, this trigger right now breaks at probably about 8 ounces. It is super light and super touchy. It might have been ground down a little too much in my opinion. The second thing, and a huge issue as far as I'm concerned, is the actual bolt carrier mechanism is, I don't know if you can see that, it wobbles really bad. And the way this is designed, it's kind of reverse from most PCP rifles. Your hammer and everything is up here where your, what they call a top hat, basically valve pin, valve, everything is down here. Now the issue that with this, and I'm not the only one, it has been well documented, as you're pulling this in, if you do it at an angle, it can depress this top hat and it will just fire. I've had it do it to me several times while it was loaded. It just kind of randomly does it, so you have to be extremely careful. I've seen some people put aluminum over this to tighten the tolerances up. I've seen some people use a carbon fiber shaft on the barrel because it slides against the barrel to tighten the tolerances up. But to me, it's a huge safety issue because you cock it, slide your pellet in, and as you're bringing this back, it can cause it to fire. And if you're not on target or in a safe direction, that could be bad. Those are the two main issues. Those are really the only two issues with this rifle. Everything else is really good, but those are two huge issues. The trigger, without a good trigger, your accuracy hurts bad. You know, you're not going to get good accuracy out of it if you're having to crank back on this trigger. Oops. That should have been on safe. Well, now you know what it sounds like. That's weird. Anyways, that startled the crap out of me. And then this is just a huge issue in my opinion, for the simple fact that it's a safety issue. The trigger is one thing, but having it be able to fire while on safe, which is weird that it did that right now, and you're not even have your finger on the trigger is a major concern. I actually reached out to Pinty and asked them about it, and I got a response within about 2 days. And they said that they were aware of the issue, but the current batch has the same issues. They didn't fix it. And I'm assuming it's because they would have to pay for retooling, which they're probably not willing to do on a $300 rifle. So know that going in. The trigger is just a hot mess. It's really bad. And it's not like a couple springs or a screw or two to change it. You literally have to grind down the sear. And the fact that this thing can fire without your finger being on the trigger. Other than that, and that's two huge caveats with this rifle. It's a good performer. It shoots well. I can shoot 18.9 grain at relatively low setting at about 870. They claim 120 shots per fill. You're not getting 120 shots per fill out of this. There's just no way. Not unless you have that regulator cranked all the way down and you're just lobbing pellets out of it. It does come with a somewhat adjustable shoulder rest here. I mean, by somewhat, I mean you have like maybe a 2 to 3 inches of adjustment, but that's another bonus. A lot of places charge, upwards of $75 for this, which is absolutely a ripoff, but that's what they do. That's how much they charge for it. So, between that and the regulator, you're into well over 3/4 of the price of the gun. Does have 2 gauges on the regulator. This is your fill pressure and your regulator pressure on this side. Foster fitting for filling. No issues with the regulator. The regulator is actually really nice. It's pretty consistent. And it's still breaking in because I haven't shot this a ton, to be honest with you. Just that kind of made me leery of the whole thing. You have your power adjuster, like I said, it's just a spin lock. One other thing that I ran into that I haven't the last few times I've shot it, and I saw a couple other people talking about it, is getting, you would be firing it, shooting it, during your session or whatever, it'd be 850, 850, 850, and then all of a sudden it would spit a pellet out at like 500. And what was happening was the spring was binding. I took it apart, looked at it. I couldn't find anything that was causing that at all. Everything was smooth. There was no burrs. I looked at the hammer spring. It looked good. I looked at the hammer. It looked good. I'm not 100% sure what was causing that, but it was absolutely the hammer spring binding. I don't know why. Like I said, it kind of worked itself out. It hasn't done it in a while. That's another thing that was just kind of a weird quirk about this rifle. It made no sense to me because usually when that happens, there's a burr in there or the spring itself is jacked up or something, but there was absolutely nothing. So real hard to say. But other than that, that really kind of covers it. It does come out of the box. It comes with, obviously, this, your moderator, a full O-ring rebuild kit, some lubricating grease, some documentation. It's a pretty robust little package that it comes with. Single box styrofoam, but it actually includes pretty much everything you would need. And Pinty themselves is actually really good about their warranties. And if you have issues with something, they will absolutely make it right. So that is a positive about them. The negative is, to me, that they know this thing has problems and they haven't fixed it, and they're still selling them, and they're still releasing new batches of them. That's kind of worrisome. They should just fix it. But like I said, they'd probably have to pay for retooling, being as it is a manufacturing defect, basically, across the board. And that's probably a lot of money to do, which they're not willing to do for a lower budget rifle. The trigger shoe is adjustable. Right now I have it. That's as far as it'll travel for me. Like I said, that with the sear reprofiled, that's the firing right there. I mean, it's like a mouse click. It's almost too light, to be honest with you. Yeah. Weighs, I think, 5.5 pounds out of the box. The way it sits right now, it's like 7 something. Shoulder's really nice. Everything about it's nice except for those 2 issues, which are kind of huge issues. And I mean, just because of the simple fact that this thing can fire without pulling the trigger, I would not recommend it to anyone until they work that out. If you're experienced and you know what you're doing, then by all means. But to me, it's a huge safety issue. And I just kind of steer clear of shooting it because of that. And when I do shoot it, I'm real conscious of what I'm doing. And even saying that, I've fired it like that before, where it's just gone off. So real hard to say. But that's about the sum total of everything on this. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of a break, and then we'll see what it'll do at 50 yards with some JTS dead centers. I think they're 18.9s. It really likes those. Surprisingly enough, it shoots the rifle slugs decent. I wouldn't write home about how well it shoots them, but it actually does. I mean, I can get 1.5 inch group at 50, which, like I said, isn't anything spectacular, but for a relatively short barrel, I think this is a 16-inch barrel. Kind of surprised me that it would do even that. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this portion up of it and then get to the shooting portion so you guys can see what it can do. And cross my fingers it doesn't accidentally fire. Or maybe it should on a video. That'd be kind of, so you can see what it looks like. But, yep, let me get going. Okay, so here we go with the shooting portion. Just wanted to show you, this is what the moderator that it comes with looks like. Like I said, it's nice. It's a milled aluminum, has a baffle in there. It's a nice moderator. It just doesn't do a lot. It's really, I mean, you could probably push a 35 through there. It's a huge hole, and I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, but yeah. So check, make sure my microphone's on. Be shooting JTS dead center 18.1s. All right, so target cam's going. I'm gonna start a new string here and see what she can do. We'll be going for the middle target of the 5 that you can see.
93.
This trigger is so light. Ridiculous how light this thing is.
884.
Even though it is a single shot, it's not difficult. Well, I kind of like it.
893.
There's one group. Actually, that's only 4. Unless you put one more in there.
888.
Move over one, do one more 5 shot just to see. We'll go to the one on the left.
893.
I think I pulled that one. Yeah, the first one was definitely me. Like I said, this trigger is so light. You have to be dead on before you touch it, or you're in trouble.
888. 884.
And this will be the last one here. Whoop.
884.
I don't know why I did that. Oh, you can't decock it. So there you go, 10 shots. Really respectable grouping. The first one was pretty much hole in hole. Second one, I dropped a couple. I think that was totally on me. The trigger is so light now after they reprofiled the sear that it's almost too light, honestly. You barely breathe on it and it goes off. It's a 10 shot string, spread of 16, standard deviation 4.9. I haven't shot this a ton, so I don't know if that regulator is still breaking in or not. Could get better. Kind of hovers around there. It doesn't deviate that much. It's not the best I've ever seen, but it's pretty consistent. So overall, I want to say I love it, but I can't. Just for that simple fact of the bolt carrier mechanism having so much slop, and the potential for it to be dangerous, and the fact that you have to do work, like actual work to the trigger to get it to perform the way it should have to begin with. And for that, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody that's not willing to put time and effort into it and knows what they're doing. And because the issue with the trigger is if you grind it down too much, it will no longer engage the hammer. So then you have a $300 paperweight. Like I said, for those 2 reasons, I can't really recommend it. A lot of people have it, and a lot of people are happy with it, but I'm eventually probably going to either have a new barrel made for this thing with better tolerances so it doesn't have that happen, or do the carbon fiber arrow shaft. You can put I have to get the specifics. I'll have to look it up. It's if you go to Airgun Nation forums, there's a massive thread on this gun, and somebody was talking about a specific arrow shaft at a certain thickness will slide over, and it just absolutely takes out all the slop, and you just epoxy it to the barrel. I would like to be able to shoot slugs out of this, so I may end up having a barrel, like a 23-inch barrel made for it, 24-inch barrel, but we'll see. And that's pretty much it. See, it shoots. It's a shooter. It's dead nuts out to 50. It's got good power. It's just that 2 issues that it just make me hesitant to say, yeah, run out and get one. If it wasn't for those, yeah, all day long, absolutely. I would say steer towards their bullpup or their carbine. No issues really with those. Triggers can be adjusted really simply, and they're good guns. This one has issues. So do pick one up. Keep that in mind. All right, until the next one. See you guys later.